Good morning from Cadiz. So, Cadiz is considered to be the oldest inhabited city in all of Europe.
Oh.
It was founded by the Phoenicians in 1100 BC.
I can see that.
So, perhaps they mean continental Europe, I guess, maybe, but I don't know. It's old.
Yeah.
It's big old.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can tell. Obviously, the architecture now is more like Spanish, classic Spanish architecture. But I think that's the torre that it was calling a tourist destination, because you can climb it like later on in the day for a view of the city. But the streets are so narrow that you can't stand back to even appreciate that it's a tower.
Yeah.
Can you see? You can kind of see it up there, where that bird just was, up there. So, yeah. But the whole town is just made out of these very narrow streets, and every window has a little balcony. It's just the thing. We serve cafe con leche in little glasses, even though it's hot. I didn't know that. I've learned that this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw your hands.
Yeah, forget about your fingertips. Yeah, I asked the guy, what is there to eat?
Yeah.
And he pointed and said, that.
Perfect.
So, you've got your toast with your olive oil
I do.
and the little fresh tomato paste situation. Yeah. So, everything but the jamon that we had in Sevilla. So, no protein. They don't want to give, no one wants a protein. These are people after my own heart.
Don't need it.
We saw a big line. We said, you should check out when
What's
there's
in
a
the
big line.
Yeah.
It was churros y chocolate, which we do want to have.
Yes.
We got in the line.
Yeah.
We spent
Realized why the line was big.
spent 20 minutes in the line, which was like all the time we had left. But we used it to research Cadiz, and in doing so, we found out we've been on a little Hercules Greatest Hits tour, because not only is Cadiz supposedly where he pushed apart the Pillars of Hercules, which we were just in the cave where he rested after doing so, and that Gibraltar,
Push.
yes, is one of the Pillars of Hercules, but that he also fought the Guryan, pronunciation question mark, the three-bodied giant, which was his 10th labor here in Cadiz. And there's a recently discovered temple to him right outside of Cadiz. And that he founded, Hercules, founded Sevilla. So apparently, we're just all up in the Greek mythology here in Spain. Didn't know it. We bailed on the line and are now going to see if we can find the cathedral, because it does look quite beautiful in the pictures. We have hit a dead end. Made it to the coast. Huh?
You look like he was going harpooning.
Oh, harpooning. Maybe octopus fishing?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. They are also ready for their Semana Santa processionals. This cathedral's a baby. It was only built or finished in the 1800s.
Which is funny.
So,
This is the oldest city.
yeah. But they have a lot of other churches here. But they may not have had a cathedral, so they may not have had a bishop to have a cathedral. Yep, they're all ready for their processionals too. It is Maundy Thursday, so today is the day when everything really kicks in for Semana Santa. It gets serious now. We've struck out on patches since we've been in Spain. He's gonna try again. Second stop for gas is also not going well. I don't know what's going on, but he keeps going back in and out and laughing. What?
One, you don't prepay for gas.
Okay.
Like if you want, you tell them to fill it up,
Uh-huh.
and then you go in there and pay however much.
Okay.
Which is a thing that I don't think you really see in the States.
Okay.
Because people would drive off without paying.
Right.
That's one.
That took like 35 years.
Yeah, yes.
And you went in and out like 8 times.
Well, so what initially happened is I asked for 10 liters of gas because that's just assuming how much this tank holds. Well, she gave me 10 euros, which is fine. That's really more of a mistake on my part because in the States I would ask for 10.
Okay.
And then when I went back in, I tried to explain to her what was going on, and she's like, "Do you just want me to fill this up?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, well yes, that's what I'm trying to accomplish." And she's like, "Well, she's like, go and do that." And I was like, "Well, there's not a place to pay out here.
Right.
Like, how do I?" And she's like, "No, fill up the car, idiot. You come in here and then pay me for the gas." I was like, "Okay, all right, well that makes sense." But then the last time she's like, "Hey, are you from America?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "What part?" I was like, "North Carolina." She's like, "Oh, Canada." I said, "No, North Carolina."
We made it to Jerez about 15 minutes late to our tour, but the excellent tour guide Rosa was texting me so that we could meet them after the first stop.
Hi, we made it.
So is this the Casbah?
Basically, it sounds like it, right? So same philosophy, right? They had the Medina, walled city, and then this is where the not sultan, the Khalifa lived with his harem and his people and all that, and it was the walled fortress within the walled city.
Sounds like
So yeah, I think it's just different terminology for different time periods of the same civilization. Yeah. And this is where the cows were, because they were completely self-sufficient within the Alcazar.
right? Casbah.
The Casbah.
Yeah. It's within the Casbah.
Alcazar.
The Casbah within the Medina.
Yes.
Is completely self-sufficient.
Yes.
As this is the rally point.
Yes.
This is the point in which they were like, "Hey man, if it all goes bad."
Because you're on the highest point, so you can see anything coming.
Habían en la ciudad 18 mezquitas. A día de hoy solo queda una en pie, porque cuando Alfonso reconquista el territorio, pues decide derribarlas y construir. Because not a lot of people were allowed to leave. Because at the Alcazar, not all of them could be here at the same time, of course. So this must work perfectly for them. Now, this is the Persian altar Alfonso built. This is for the Persian. Now, it's being renovated. This is pretty old.
She's doing a great bilingual tour.
It looks like a sweet orange, but it kind of tastes like a lime, so we can eat that. And we can see this on the leaves. If you take a closer look, you'll see that we have one big leaf and another smaller one on top. It's like two trees in one. And they go on the street, so why is the other one is brother? And they brought them here because of this smell, the agave flower. Okay? And since they're not 100% natural, we're getting oranges all year round. Okay? They don't have a specific.
Tropicana was
Part of the military-industrial complex. So we just learned that, you can't eat the oranges, the bitter oranges. They planted them for the smell, right? To make oils out of, to keep things smelling nice. But then they have had all these oranges you can eat. So they made, soaps, marmalades, all that stuff, wine. But they could also make gunpowder, because the peels are high on potassium and they figured out the chemistry necessary. So that was pretty interesting. So the olive oil press, there's a mill and then a press. And she's like, yeah, these are actually all original pieces because it's not very old. It's from the 18th century. So it's still older than our country. The scale, guys, of time is something. This is the press. Okay. See the screw? This is where people would walk around. The olive oil would go on the very end, lay down there. Look at how big this is. So the paste went on these glass mats that were stacked up and then squished by the beams. And she said they still use this method, except obviously it's powered by machines now, but it's effectively the same way. They still make olive oil. Because it works.
So we're going inside the hammam. You did get to go in a hammam after all, an ancient one. And she said the Khalifa would make all the important decisions in here, because if somebody betrayed you, you would know exactly who had come in, and you were naked, so it no hidden weapons.
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. So they had a whole water system. Jerez is landlocked. There's not even a river. So they had to go down, drill, basically, a well. And this is the system they use to collect and move water. Like, do you want to climb the tower? Well, duh. Everything good is always up. So, you're at the highest point on the hill. His throne room is that dome right there. And the entrance to this, right next to his throne room. And his throne room was behind the water source, so he could protect the water source and have access to the highest viewpoint. The Khalifa knew what he was doing. Turns out that wasn't the top. We can keep going. All right, so the story is that Alfonso, who was the king during the Reconquista of this area, he gets into the Medina as a spy.
On the pretext of buying. He says to himself, well, once he gets in, he realizes, takes the scope of the place, does some recon work. Then, once he does that, he sees how big the army is, what their viewpoint is, how things operate. Then he comes back. He sends 200 horses with some leather on that side.
On their tails.
On their tails. So it kicks up a bunch of dust. The king sees the dust coming. He's like, oh man, the army's over there. So they go out trying to pre-assault. And well, guess where my boy Alfonso's from?
Boom.
Okay. Takes the castle, no issues.
Right. One battle, the Battle of the Leathers. So Alcincia, the Duke, who came here in the 18th century, 1700s, he wanted to live here, but he didn't want an Almohada-style palace. So he builds a Baroque one, destroys one of these bad boys, builds this. And now it really does look like somebody just dropped this palace into the middle of all of this. So a nice model of what the Medina and everything looked like. This is the origin point of sherry wine also. And sherry wine is why the city grew in the first place. During Elizabeth I's reign, Sir Francis Drake comes here, essentially steals 3,000 barrels of wine and takes it back to England.
Liberates.
Liberates. She tries it, she's like, this is bomb. And she establishes a trade situation with Jerez. Not Spain, not the king, but the city itself, just to provide England with sherry wine. And that starts a growth moment for the city because there's lots more trade, lots of English businessmen, and lots more production. The wealthy people in the 1600s were like, yeah, we should have a cathedral too, guys. Everybody else has one. So they raise money, they get everything going, and they try at first to renovate a different church. And they just run out of room. So then they're like, okay, well, we'll go down to what was the mosque, that's a reconsecrated church, and we'll do it there. And so they get going, and they run out of money a bunch of times. And so it takes like over 100 years to get all of it done. And they use oyster stone to do it. And oyster stone deteriorates over time. So she said that's why you can really see it's struggling a little bit. to maintain its details. And because it took so long to build, it's neoclassical, Baroque, and a little Gothic with the flying buttresses and gargoyles, and something called plateria design, which is where they try to replicate the detail you find on silverwork out of stone, although over time on oyster stone, that doesn't work very well. So you can see that this was the last part of the cathedral that they worked on because they kept running out of money, and they actually didn't finish decorating it.
So here we have more scenes of more Bibles.
And you can really see the plateria.
Did a really excellent job of bilingual touring.
Yeah.
I've been on some of those that have been rough. Her English was great.
Yep.
She was doing the thing well, which that's got to be hard to do.
Oh, for sure. And really, I felt kind of bad
Because it was just us that needed English.
and by us, it was me. You know, so I was like, man, I feel like I'm kind of making you work a little hard, you know.
Oh, you know. But she was great. She was enthusiastic. She was a good storyteller, and she helped coordinate with us to get up with her even though we were late. So that was very kind. But then, before we could tip her, say anything to her,
disappeared.
She evaporated.
A literal NPC. Okay, like I turn. She's like, "Hey, that's the end of the tour." I turn and look, and
She's gone, like missing, like not in existence anymore.
It was almost as if she never existed to begin with. Okay.
So we are going to walk back over towards where the car is,
Which is, of course, is
uphill, around the
towards
Alcázar,
the
and see
fucking Col Medina.
and see if we can find somewhere to grab some food, because I'm pretty hungry. My tomato toast.
Oh
has
no, I'm
worn
getting
off
acclimated to
starvation. Tío Pepe that you see advertised in grand fashion in a lot of places in Spain, turns out is a sherry producer. And this is like the mecca of sherry. So back up to the Alcázar.
Here's one of the reasons why there's a rivalry between here and Cadiz. All right.
Yes, because of the shipping
of
sherry.
Shipping of sherry.
Yes. Yep. They didn't want to pay the taxes Cadiz wanted them to pay to ship the sherry out.
Well, no. Cadiz, they started shipping the sherry from Cadiz.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to pay taxes here. And so Cadiz started making more money than they did. Making more money than they did. And now you've got oyster stone castles because of that.
Yeah, so there's a big rivalry apparently. She said now mostly related to football.
Football.
Yes, and another dog on the loose.
A dog.
Yeah, there's an almost dog fight behind us just then. All right, it's tapas time. We've got oxtail croquettes and patatas bravas, which are potatoes, fried potatoes in a spicy sauce. Typical stuff here. We have added grilled pork steak, solomillo. I finally got him some meat. I'm a croquetas kind of girl. I like the croquetas.
They're good.
I'm gonna have to learn how to make ham croquetas because I actually think I like the ham ones a little bit better than those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You like the meat?
well, I actually haven't even tried this yet.
Oh, you just tried the sauce?
I just tried the sauce is bomb.
The sauce is
whatever
good.
this sauce is.
I let the waiter pick the sauce. It's solomillo in your choice of sauce, and I was like, which sauce do I want?
It might be like a mushroom sauce.
And he's like, this one. And I said, great. Look at this international man of mystery waiting for me by the fountain. So other than all the spots are so tiny, it's ridiculous. Parking has been different protocol in every place we've gone. This one, it read your license plate on the way in. And then you just select your license plate and pay. This was the simplest, honestly, of all of them. You didn't have a little ticket or anything like that to do. And I say that, it was simple for me. The people who were standing at the other kiosk when I walked up are now talking to the man. But he's ready. He has to take his shoes off because his big feet can't do the clutch and
the pedals at the same time. We made it back to Sevilla, and
Quite almost.
if it
two
looks
spaces
similar,
away.
it's because
Okay.
yeah, we parked 2 places down from where we parked before, because where we should have been, we drove by, had spaces,
Yeah.
and then
By the time we turned around.
by the time we could turn around to pull into it, had no spaces.
Yeah.
And the next closest public parking garage
It's
was
farther.
further away than where our old Airbnb was with free street parking, and so that's where we parked. But I think at least we know more or less where we're going now.
Oh.
Yeah, we're natives.
Plus,
We've been
we
here
are
before.
natives. That's true.
Oh, and he did make a very sweet illegal U-turn
Oh.
just
that's-
across 6
Well,
lanes of traffic.
See, the problem though with the illegal U-turn was I should have made that illegal U-turn earlier. Okay, I should have trusted my instincts and just said, "Hey,
All these police officers
are
don't.
gonna try and chase us.
No.
They got too much going on to chase us. Let's just pull it here." We'd have been locked up abroad. Listen, somebody here almost already got approached by the police.
Stop.
Okay, somebody here was already had us
Stop.
nearly incarcerated.
All right, so we're gonna make it to our hotel, which I can't wait to see because this is the most expensive night of the trip.
Tonight is.
Yes.
Ugh. Well,
So
that hotel last time.
the hotel last night was really nice, but the hotel tonight in Sevilla
Well,
on Maundy
Sure.
Thursday into Good Friday
that's fair.
is primo prime time, and we're staying like next to the Alcazar,
Oh,
and we have a roof. There's like a rooftop terrace.
what?
So yeah, it should be pretty sweet. So we got checked in to, it's about the same price as a night at a Disney moderate resort. Port Orleans French Quarter. But we're in Sevilla for Semana Santa, and oh yikes, we have a balcony that looks out. Okay, so just saying. All right, it's pretty cool. More authentic than Port Orleans French Quarter.
A little bit.
A little bit. Before we get our churros and chocolate, we are using the internet, this map, and the book to try to figure out some of the parade routes for tonight. Because there are a lot of parades,
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
and there's a lot going on, and it's not completely straightforward. We're also going to give a brief tutorial on what we're going to see tonight, because it does look a little strange to American eyes. So, Semana Santa in southern Spain, every town, every church has a cofradia, which is like a brotherhood, like the Masons or the Elk Lodge, or like a group of bros and women starting 7 years ago, who process through the streets from Easter or Palm Sunday all the way through Easter Sunday, as a show of like public penitence and also just celebration for that final week of Christ's life. And each confradie has pasos, which are these big floats that are enormously decorated, richly decorated, velvet, silver, gold, wax decorations, showing different religious figures and different stages of Jesus's life. They also feature, and those are carried by the costaleros, which are the big burly bros who go underneath them.
Yeah.
And they ride on their shoulders, so they're not pulled by anything. They're carried by 20 to 50 guys, apparently, depending on the size of it, which is very impressive. We saw one of those in an earlier video, actually. We caught the end of one. Then you also have the Nazarenos. The Nazarenos are the people who are also processing in these parades, and they are wearing outfits that feature a kind of conical headpiece, and it's a robe, and then there's like a velvet piece that goes down the front and back that's the same color as the conical hat.
If you're from America,
These-
it looks like a Klansman's uniform.
I wasn't gonna say that. specifically, but they look
It's just, I mean,
like
that's the best
something.
way.
And so it can be a little jarring to the American eye, but it has nothing to do with it. And this tradition is centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries old. In fact, El Silencio, the one we're trying to go to tonight, started in 1314 or something like that. So that's how old we're talking as a tradition. So there's my little brief prelude to Semana Santa. Our balcony is right up there. And right down here, there's churros y chocolate. All right, we've got our churros and chocolate, and we've come back over towards the Alcazar and Cathedral because we knew there were benches. They're a little different than Mexican churros. They're thinner, curlier. They chop them up into smaller pieces and sell them by weight. So we got a small portion.
What's the chocolate sitch?
And then the chocolate,
dip this? Is
yes,
that
dip
more
it, yes, dip it, is like somewhere between a hot chocolate and like a hot chocolate sauce. It's thinner than a sauce, but thicker than a cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah? What you think?
That's fun. That's a
Good a snack?
snack.
Will it
treat.
raise your blood sugar?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. Hopefully you'll start feeling
No,
100%.
every day.
I haven't starved you.
I'm telling you, I'm getting thinner by the day. It's good. It's good for me.
Those were very mid. I have had better. But now we are going to go, I think, walk towards the church that El Silencio leaves from and scope it out and then just sort of see where the night takes us. So we did find a big wall that has all the schedules on it, but we also are already kind of having difficulty navigating, and because there's a processional going on and we're crossing the road. So, oh well. Spotted some of the castelleros over here, the strong dudes who carry everything on their shoulders. So we left where we were standing and went back to the crosswalk to try to get where the tapas are. And I think we might be slowly figuring out the routes and how this works. Well, we thought we were getting somewhere. We were. Now we are not. All right. We slid through all of that. There is a processional going on. I don't know if we bought anything by doing that. I think now we're just on the parallel street going back the direction we came. But, you know, maybe we should have gone in that guy's fine establishment whose doorway we almost stumbled into. And he's like, hey, friends, come on in. The reality of Semana Santa in Seville. So, following one, another one behind us. In the nick of time, we have found the area that we were actually looking for the whole time.
Was almost murdered again.
He was
someone.
not. I was not unkind at all.
Not yet.
I am holding it in. I am holding it together by the barest of threads.
It is,
This is a sensory overload.
It
But
is. There's a lot.
we have
But
shrimp
it's
fritters
not-
now.
It's not that there's a lot of people. It's that there's not a lot of space.
Yes.
Because, like, this amount of people shouldn't be.
Right. But you're in roads that are teeny little
Yeah,
tiny.
that aren't made for
right,
this.
and you can't
Aren't
tell
made for
what way you're going. Yeah.
It has all of the Medina. It has all the negatives of that.
Yes.
Not all the negatives. That's
Right,
not true.
yeah.
It has the same kind of feel as that.
Yeah.
Without any of the negatives.
Right. So, we're gonna have some food. We're having some water, and we're gonna be back in the fight. We have the goat cheese and roasted vegetable croqueta that is delicious and has that croqueta texture with the little goat cheese bite to it. Lentils with pork and chorizo. It looks like a soup.
It is a soup.
Yes. So I might bust out this bread over here
Oh, yeah.
and pay the $1 or whatever it's gonna cost to eat the bread. So I do like lentils, and this is all like porky and
Oh, it's delicious.
yummy. Yeah.
No, that's it.
At first we were like soup, but it is actually pretty delicious. Yeah. Pringa, a roasted pork sandwich. Somehow I bet this will taste good. This is the first one we've seen at night, and it's a lot more spectacular at night. We're also really close to this one. The final float in all the parades is this one with the Madonna and all the candles, and it's called a Candelara. We almost got run over by a busy return. Alright. We managed to cross the street. I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for you, I would have given up on this already. And the mini adventures of Mom and Evie would never have even begun. No. This road is called El Silencio Boulevard. Think that has anything to do with it? We shall see. So we stumbled directly into the church
Yeah, I
where
totally
the
knew
El
this is where-
Silencio starts from, that we were looking for before, and we've been here before
Yeah.
earlier today, and you can see all the Nazarenos are arriving.
And you know what's funny? You said, oh, there's a lot of homies over here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't get over to where the
We might
plaza
be able
is.
to go back around.
Well, but I'm wondering if all these people are already standing here waiting for the, because this would be where
They
it
are.
starts from.
They are. But that doesn't mean we can't get to the plaza.
We could.
Let's start working on that.
Okay, all right.
We ended up finding our way through to the sidewalk. No need to worry about where the parade route was because everyone else was already on it. But we did manage to find a spot, and now we are waiting about an hour and a half before it kicks off.
Vamos a darle un poco de más paso. Vamos a abrirlo un poquito. Izquierda adelante, arriba hacia la izquierda. A la izquierda. Un poco, pararse ahí.